clever, who's happy or strong, who's naughty, neat, scatterbrained, or just plain wrong. What a crazy cool commotion, Mr. Man and Little Miss. Oh yeah, well who's really funny, who's greedy, who's small, who's always in trouble, who's bouncy, who's tall? Well, there's never been a group like this, Mr. Man and Little Miss. Well, they're bumpy and bossy, they'll tickle you too. They're dizzy and forgetful just like me and you. They got every kind of face, every kind of mood, sometimes so splendid and sometimes just rude. Well, who's always nosy, who's full of sunshine, who's such a chatterbox to drive you out of your mind? Well, there's never been a group like this. Yeah, there's never been a group of friends quite like this. So hold on to your hats for Mr. Man and Little Miss. Oh yeah.
That's right, Biz Mashes. DW Forever 917 presents another swell edition of The Dropbox, the talk show that takes Unrealized projects that didn't quite make it, and gives a further in-depth look at what might have been. My name is Sandra LeBlanc and I will be your hostess with the mostest for this next exciting installment. As for our regular host, well, let's just say he's busy spending the evening with some old classmates. Haha.
Beg, it was so swell of you Canic high schoolers to come out here and spend time with me on my day off. Hee hee.
Oh yes, Mr. Whoops, I mean Miss Saltome. I for one am looking forward to feeling those slippery sweat and vaginal juice moistened dumplings of yours slide across my sensitive private areas while I read off the latest fan manga I wrote about your swell series. Ha ha ha.
Ah yes, like my cousin said, I would also like to have your smooth pancake scrub all over me, but also I'd like you to become a man as well so I can read in the masculines and while you blast your clocks right on my face. Ha ha ha. Likewise, I love what my fellow pal Leo's having. We can take turns comparing the smoothness of our super pedal as we slap the other members of the Nintendo family inside the brothel. Yes!
Oh my, I wouldn't mind at all getting in on some of that. The thought of having those salty brown Canadian churros bouncing off my titties is already making me like in anticipation.
Still got it. But anyways, run to me, Hashi amigo. After we're done wearing each other out with the scrub off, I can pour cold water on you and take you up to your bedroom where we can have ourselves a real workout. Wink.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I've got a good thing going on. Ha ha ha.
And with all cutaway gags out of the way, let's get on with our swell show and look at some unrealized projects, starting with this one here. The secret missing episode of Danger Mouse. That's right, for the longest time DW Forever 917 has been wanting to do a follow-up to his secret missing episode of Count Duckula video, which itself was never actually officially uploaded to YouTube. Only this time he wanted to take it one step further and tackle the Cosgrove series where Duckula got his big break, and that was the 1981 series Danger Mouse. The series centered around a super-secret agent mouse and his cowardly hamster sidekick Penfold, as they travel the world to thwart the dastardly deeds of such villains as Baron Silas Greenback, a criminal mastermind aided by his crow henchman Stiletto and his pet caterpillar Nero. Other villains of the show included Dr. Augustus P. Crumhorn, J.J. Clark the alien invader, and of course the vampire duck himself. Yes, Duckula started off as a bad guy in Danger Mouse, with an unquenchable thirst for TV stardom, and faced the White Wonder on several occasions, but I digress. The show had a very Rocky and Bullwinkle/underdog style formula in its storytelling, and it especially shows in the later seasons when the episodes are split up into serialized multi-parters, expanding about 4 minutes or less. And DW Forever 917 was going to try and emulate that into his secret missing episode, having it expand the story in small doses throughout an entire year. But anyways, let's get on about the plot already. The secret missing episode would start with a small narration using the AT&T Charles voice, as it matches the one of David Jason's opening narration of every episode, David Jason also being the voice of Danger Mouse and Count Duckula, and who would go on to reprise Duckula in his own Nicktoon show. And off the topic, Jason also voices Mr. Toad in Cosgrove Hall's TV show version of The Wind in the Willows. But anyways, let's get back on topic, sorry about that.
Ha ha ha, that's what I thought.
After the narration, DM would come in and introduce himself and Penfold, and quickly gloss over their homosexuality to get to the part about their current mission, as DM was determined to find out who tried to sack him in the unestablished union member update video by Beef Stew 92. Damn, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? But anyways, DM would get a call in from Colonel K, who would inform him that his old enemy Professor Crumhorn is stirring up trouble and photophobia. And just like that, DM and Penfold were on their way to kick some canine tail in that unswell prude nation, having some gay back and forth along the way of Claus Hohia. Upon their arrival at Photophobia, DM and Penfold will come across the Cadillac Cats from Heathcliff, who themselves were in hot pursuit of Top Cat and his gang during the events leading up to DJ Swell 69's Laugh Olympics video. Riff Raff agrees to help DM track down Crumhorn, because, as was established in an earlier video, he and Crumhorn have had a long-time rivalry in the past. So yes, this video would have been a sort of Danger Mouse Cadillac Cats crossover. And speaking of crossovers, the original draft of the script was going to have a villain team up between Crumhorn and the Count Duckula villain The Egg, and DW Forever himself would have provided the voice. Moreover, he would have also used clips from the actual show to have him gloss over DM's history and all his arch-enemies to study any possible weaknesses. But DW Forever 917 scrapped that idea early on because he couldn't find the computerized voice filter that The Egg had in the show. I guess you could say the whole thing was very exasperating. But that's nothing. I haven't even told you about the most exciting part. Soon after defeating Crumhorn, it's revealed that he was merely a distraction this whole time to lure DM and Penfold away, and Colonel K informs our heroes that while they've been fighting in photophobia, there has been trouble brewing in the United States. The section of the episode would have ended on one of several cliffhangers, that the true mastermind was, well, prepare for a shock. The true antagonist of the episode would be Duckula, and I mean the original Danger Mouse Count Duckula.
Well, honestly, that was kind of predictable.
That's right. The evil Count Duckula is revealed to be the main villain who is plotting to take over the United States. He would accomplish this by hypnotizing the Republican Party to vote in his newest business partner, the at the time presidential candidate Donald Trump. And yes, this secret missing episode was going to be a political slam on the 2016 elections. In fact, he was planning to make the few installments of the episode in between making his secret missing episode of Sailor Moon R video that came out that same year. But anywho, Duckula would help get Trump into office, and in exchange he would help build a wall to keep all the swell Spiaconia groups out of the community, and then Duckula would be able to dominate the Spiaconia community with his own brand of ghost videos. The action portions of the episode would have included some fight scenes, most likely consisting of footage from a Super Sentai or other Japanese media, and it would end with the characters engaging in a mass gay orgy to celebrate their victory. A swell rendition of the game of cat and mouse if I ever saw one, or would have saw in this case Hiya. But now on to the unswell reason as to why this video was never meant to be. 2016 was a hectic time for DW Forever 917 to make videos. Not only was he moving things in and out of a new apartment at the time, but also the laptop which he had most of his workload on he had limited access to, on account of because he and most of his family was staying at his sister's old place from 2014 to 2015, and in late October of 2016 the management of said establishment booted them out for having too many residents, plus they just issued a no pets policy, so they had to couch surf from one location to another until they got a steady place to live. So as you can imagine, DW Forever 917's video making schedule was extremely limited, as it was without having to make a serialized missing episode about an obscure British cartoon on top of all that. And besides, the fact that Donald Trump did indeed win the presidential election in 2016 makes the topic of this hypothetical missing episode a moot point. So I just say we put the past behind us and leave the shredder buried. Put this unrealized project to rest. Now then, let's move on to the next one, shall we? The secret missing issue of Bloom County. Yes, this was going to be the YouTuber's first ever secret missing issue video, drawing inspiration from the secret missing issue of Scott Pilgrim by Pedalponer69. Now for those of you who don't know, Bloom County is a comic strip series which ran from the early to late 80s, and even made a comeback in 2015 on Facebook. The comic is a satire of both political and cultural society through the viewpoint of Middle America, in a town where humans and animals mingle side by side and tackle social issues. You know, the kind of pseudo-intellectual stuff that my pussy pal Birch wouldn't be interested in. The most popular and reoccurring characters in the comics were Opus the Penguin and Bill the Cat, who serve as the comic's unofficial mascots. In fact, they've gained such a cult following that they even had their own animated Christmas special in the early 90s. Personally, I wouldn't mind at all getting to know that handsome hunk of poultry, or that raggedy feline set on a biblical level, if you know what I mean. Wink. Now as to why D-Dubs never got around to making this. Well, to be honest, he couldn't really come up with anything clever at the time to do with the characters. The only ideas he had was maybe Steve Dallas, the local defense attorney, could join the Darkwing Den, serving as the group's head of legal affairs. Also, he was thinking of adding the characters Cutter John and his on-again off-again lover Bobby Hardlow into No Man, since the latter is more often than not seen barefoot on the former's lap whenever the two are together. I'm just saying. Milo Bloom would end up as the official newspaper editor for the KQPP. And as for Bill and Opus, well, if this video were made today, they would most likely be fated into the pansexual pack, maybe as one of their various love pets in the fetish division. At least that's what I'd do anyway. Also, there's been rumors that Fox has plans on putting an animated series into the works. And if that's true, then DW Forever 917 might just wait and check it out before giving the project another shot, as a secret missing episode would be a lot more labor-saving in the long haul. But for now, let's move on to another major project that's been left on the dusty shelf. Olga Pataki's Around the World Rape Vacation series. Well, considering the source material, I think now would be a good time as any to bring out our first special guest host for tonight. Come on out here and introduce yourself.
Yes, thanks for having me here tonight, Sandra, you sexy beast. But yes folks, it is I, Olga G-String Pataki, and tonight I want to talk to you about another project that DW Forever 917 has given up on. Well, sort of. Remember back in 2018 when this YouTuber made a video of yours truly going to Australia's equivalent of an iconic burger restaurant? Well, that was actually meant to be an entire ongoing series of videos, in which I, the Betty Bunch's most posh and proper representative, would suck and slurred my way through the sexiest tourist attractions on this fabulous green globe we all call home sweet home. Yes.
Oh my, that does indeed sound intriguing, Miss Pataki. I so can't wait to hear all about the other swell ideas DW Forever 917 had in store for you in this would-be extended raid journey.
Well, yes, Miss LeBlanc, there actually were a few more ideas the YouTuber had in mind to highlight my swell vacation. For example, there was an idea for a video in where I visit the Temple of Isis in Egypt, where I would raid my way through the female tourist clientele and try to fornicate the agent tomb of the sexy goddess herself. He also had the idea of a cutaway scene featuring Gemma Sao Tome outside the temple shooting a commercial for the product Panda Cheese, or Panda Pedal Cheese as he likes to call it. And yes, the panda in the Panda Cheese commercials was Gemma this whole time would have been the mandatory hidden establishment reference, stating that he's been doing these commercials since his original anime and OVA series ended just to get by. And you'd think an endangered species like himself would be able to find a sweller line of work these days. Another raid journey DW Forever 917 had in mind would have been a follow-up to one of Fillet of Soul One's videos, in where Ataru Moriboshi and a handful of Team Takun members go to the Lumine East Shopping Center in Shinjuku. Only yours truly would be stirring things up at the My Lord Shopping Center, which resides in the southwest corner of the Shinjuku Station complex, which also houses Lumine East. And during my Shih Tzu shenanigans at said establishment I would actually run into Etaro and his mob taking a detour from their own little raid journey, and I would suggest that me and some of the lovely leg ladies of his entourage go and get a sexy pedicure, while the boys go off elsewhere in another part of the mall. Another potential raid journey was actually referenced in the third installment of Speakonia Muyo, when Sissy and her foot friends mentioned going to an episode of Rocco's Modern Life, where they included the bubble-headed French wallaby Claudette into the number of Freedom Foot Fighters in their Très Sexy organization. If there had been a video where I went to France, it would have featured a scene on the bus with the crazy-ass tour guide from Rocco's Modern Life trying to keep us in line. Also, he had the idea of having me go to Italy and fill all the canals of Venice with my own pussy juice, killing all the men with my STDs but sparing all the women. It's just as well as it sounds. As for the reason why this wasn't given more attention, well, DW Forever 917 had just downloaded Wondershare Filmora on his laptop and was still getting used to its features and effects, and so he tested them out on other video projects. Besides, the idea of having me hit up an establishment from every corner of the world would start to get tedious and redundant after a while, and so he decided to move on to bigger and better things. Yes, my raid vacation was hinted at in the Drew Pickles Goes to Tesco video back in 2019, but other than that, it was back to beaver business as usual for yours truly.
Well, Miss Pataki, I must admit those are some rather interesting developments. A shame we never got to see the rest of your fornication world tour play out. But I guess those are the breaks, Hahaya. Anyways, let's move on to the next abandoned project. The Sissy Delma's Here Comes the Grunt project. Oh? Okay, this one looks like it was a little before my time.
Oh, I remember this. Don't worry Sandra, I can cover this one for you. After all, I have some background on the project from a reliable source. Now then folks, here comes The Grump was a 1969 69 cartoon made by David D. Patey and Friz Freeling, who you might know best for producing those Pink Panther cartoons by Mirish Films Incorporated. The plot of this cartoon revolved around a young teenager boy named Terry Dexter who needs to help a drop-dead sexy princess to save her kingdom from an evil wizard named the Grump, played by the late Rip Taylor, who's always in close pursuit to try and stop them, but always manages to fail due to the clumsiness of his lovable but incompetent dragon sidekick. Moreover, both the Grump and his pet dragon were clearly inspired by Yosemite Sam's Black Knight character from the award-winning Friz Freeling cartoon Nighty Night Bugs.
Ooh, Cherie, you certainly do know your cartoon history there, don't you?
Oh wow. Say hello to our other special guests, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my, it's Miss Delmas herself. Why, you look even sexier in the flesh than you do on footcappers.com. Yes.
How you hold the show? I could say the same about Cherie Delectable Soul Cracker. And merci Sandra as well for having me on the show, ha ha ha.
Well, now that we're all better acquainted, Miss Delmas, why don't you take it from here? Eh?
Oh, it would be a pleasure, Miss LeBlanc. Now then, Mona Mies, this video project was based on a suggestion by Geekstudio92, which was originally meant to be an introduction vid for the Grump, where he reveals that he's not only a onion bounty hunter but also a member of the Vile Vanguard. But DW Forever 917 would have expanded on this idea by making it an origin story of how Princess Dawn and Terry Dexter are recruited into Adeldon, with Terry eventually being part of the Lassie Republic. Oh, that would have been quite a nasty adventure, ha ha ha.
Yeah, and I might as well give this a mention because someone will just point it out in the comments section if I don't. But in 2018 there was a 3D animated film adaptation of Here Comes the Grump produced by Anima Studios and GFM Animation. There, hopefully that gets the rabid fanbase off my back.
Yes, and now for the unswell reason as to why this video never got off the ground. As mentioned by Sandra earlier, it was between 2016 and 2017 and DW still had limited laptop access moving from place to place, and thus he really had no time to work on any future projects. Then in January of the latter his mother passed away after her long battle with COPD, and he pretty much had to be the glue that held the family together during those dark times. Sniff.
Also, the Dubster spent most of 2017 managing his newest channel, DJ Swell Memorial, where he's been archiving a lot of DJ Swell 69's old videos before the genuine article returned to YouTube later that year.
Right, you are sissy. But of course the events of this Unrealized project was not completely lost to time, as it was given a small reference in the Secret Diary of Miyako Inoue video, when Tammy from Rescue Rangers mentions being in the middle of those events before getting asylum into our group's subdivision at Academy Alpha.
Oh, so that must have been the reliable source you were referring to earlier then. Well sissy, I must say that is quite an interesting bit of info you and Olga had there. And thanks again for filling us in on those details, ladies.
Ha ha ha, no problem there, Sandra.
And with that out of the way, here's our next abandoned project. Ryoga Hibiki Goes to Showbiz Pizza Place. Ah yes, this particular project was a labor of love and nostalgia, as DW Forever 917 has somewhat fond memories of this long debunked, but not forgotten establishment. Yes, DW Forever 917 actually had a Showbiz Pizza in his hometown as a kid in the late 80s, which was adjacent to a Kmart in the same mini mall, and is now where a Big Lots and a Kroger now reside. But what really makes this hypothetical ride journey interesting is what direction it goes in and of course the inspiration that led to it. Huh? And what's going on down here? Oh, you say you're ready to come out and share the details about this project yourself? Why, that does sound like a swell idea, alright Hahaya.
Sandra, just who are you talking to?
Why isn't it obvious all to share? She clearly has our next special guest crawling inside of her nether regions and now he's begging to come out and introduce himself.
Why yes, Miss Delmas. In fact, he's actually been baking in my hotbox since this video began and I've been enjoying every moment of it. And I say it's about time we let him out for some fresh air and let him say hello, haha. Well, enough talking about it. Hold on folks, I'm going in.
Oh baby, I can't wait to see this.
Ah yes, there you are my sexy little porker you.
Oh, such a adorable little swine indeed.
Sandra, you had a pig up your snatch all this time. Moreover, how is he supposed to? Oh wait, that pig looks awfully familiar.
Oh trust me Olga, you'll be recognizing him real good here in a moment. Yo sissy, you got a kettle of hot water on you or something?
Well, I do have this hot foot sweat and toe jam latte I got from Drum in the Sun, if that'll help.
Well, it'll have to do. Alrighty then, let's give Bacon Boy here a pick-me-up.
Wait, now I remember where I seen this bait before. Honestly, that being shitty dildos.
Beg. Now there's somewhere I wouldn't mind trying to find my way out of 4 days on end.
Sacre blue, the Kid Black video was actually a sexy Japstead this whole time. Olga, you okay, Cher?
Yeah, I'd probably say no on that one.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I'll be fine, sissy. I just wasn't quite prepared to see that happen. Ugh.
Oh, my deepest and humblest apologies, Olga Senpai. Grossing you out was never my intention, I assure you.
Oh, it's nothing really, dearie. You just took me by surprise is all. I'm sure it's nothing one of Sissy's famous soul scrubs won't cure. Wink.
Oh, sure thing, Olga Cher. I'll be more than happy to chase your blues away. Hee hee. Alright, Sandra, you and Mashure Hibiki take it from here.
Well, alrighty then, Ryoga. While those two are hitting it off, why don't you give us the skinny on this unrealized project, eh?
Gladly, Sandra-kun. Now picking up where Miss LeBlanc left off, you should know that DJ Swell69 along with a handful of other YouTubers were responsible for getting DW Forever 917 interested in joining the Speakonia community in the first place. The first video he watched by DJ Swell69 was the one where Drew Pickles goes looking for his extension cable. Another personal favorite was the swell but controversial Coon Chicken In video, which is sadly no longer on YouTube. And it was these two videos specifically that would have served as the main inspiration for this first ever Darkwing Den Goes to Video project. The video would start with yours truly using Dexter's time machine to travel back to Shoga's Pizza circa 1985 to book a reservation for the Darkwing Den's secret meeting to discuss our next move against the Carmen Collective. The video would have also featured a cameo of Danny Dingo wanting to hire the Rockafire Explosion Band for a gig at his Green Patch brothels. And for the first time in Furinkan history, I, Ryoga Hibiki, would actually know where I'm going in a goes to video, because there is a flashing light throughout the video showing me which way to go. The light would start taking me to various areas in the restaurant, including the aforementioned scene with Danny and the Rockafires, making various things in the establishment sweller for Epic Laos, and finally, the flashing light will lead me into the game room area, where I will find an arcade game of Dragon's Lair. The flashing light would tell me to do a Boxai Tenketsu into the coin slot, and when I do I will be sucked into the game itself, and from there I will encounter no other than the game's main protagonist Dirk the Daring, who is trying to save the lovely Princess Daphne from this castle. So naturally I would agree to help Dirk in his quest to save the princess. So me and Dirk would follow the flashing light through the game, fighting off and avoiding all the traps and enemies that we encountered along the way, but just as we are about to reach the final level, the main enemy of the video would step out of his office and it would be the Carmen Collective member Servile from Where in Time is Carmen San Diego. And considering that we were facing one of Carmen's minions, me and Dirk Daring, along with Kazuma Kuwahibara who is summoned from one of the flashing items, will team up against this common scourge. And so an epic battle ensues between us and Servile, but then in the middle of the battle Servile will not notice that the dragon from Dragon's Lair sneaks up from behind and decides to devour the Nasty Knight, with said Nasty Knight most likely time jumping back to Carmen's base before hitting the dragon's fiery bowels. Me and Kuwahibara would proceed to pedal rape the dragon, while Dirk uses the key to save the princess. Unfortunately for Dirk, however, Princess Daphne was already rescued by Bud Bundy in his Grand Footsterby persona, using the swell vibrations of his hip-hop and soul-scrubbing skills to burst the bubble. Whoops, well you can't win 'em all. Me and Kuwahibara feel sorry for Dirk, and so we decided to show him the wonders of pedophilia and homosexuality in the case of Kuwahibara, by giving him a nice indoctrination rape as the next member of the Darkwing Den. But like Bubsy in DJ Swell69's Cheese Wheels of Doom video, Dirk will drop dead at the mere touch of our genitalia and appendages penetrating any of his exposed areas. Like I said, you can't win 'em all, hataha. The video would then come to its conclusion, with me and Kuwahibara doing the whole I think we go to so and do all of this now line, and even give a shout out to the YouTuber's day of existence. So then Sandra-kun, what did you think of that? Sandra-kun? Hello? Hurt you, Sandra.
Oh, sorry Ryoga, I was just fantasizing about that sexy monkey Fats Geronimo playing the keyboard on my hard swollen nipples.
Well, I actually don't blame you there. I get that whenever I think of Akahane Chanwan Makun or any of the other loafer ladies in my life, hataha.
But anyways, you're probably wondering why the dubster left this project out to spoil like so many moldy pizzas. Well, it was 2015 and Dubs was hard at work doing his previously mentioned secret missing episode of Count Duckula video, as well as the original upload of his bad rap on Buggy the Toe Jam Clown before doing a revamp of it a year later. Plus he already did the Stu Pickles Goes to Major Magic's video a year previously to celebrate his own birthday, so doing a similar video would have felt redundant at that point, and he didn't want to feel like he was starting an annual trend or anything like that. DW Forever 917 doesn't usually try to set any kind of schedule with his uploads, unless it's a holiday special or a topic on current events. But most of the time his videos are uploaded when he gets around to finishing them, when real life difficulties don't get in the way. Hence why it took so long to get this video out, and we're only halfway through. So with that said, let's take a look at one more project before taking a breather before the next one. Cue the fanfare, Charlie. The secret missing episode of Molly's Gang. Ah yes, another swell unestablished gem from across the waters, even though it takes place beyond the stars. Hohaya. Now Molly's Gang was a 1994 stop-motion series produced by Martin Gates Productions, who you might remember for another obscure British series called The Dreamstone, as well as their own version of The Wind in the Willows, featuring Doctor House actor Hugh Laurie as Mr. Toad. Oh what, I just really like The Wind in the Willows. I think those furry studs Red and Molly are sexy as all hell. Oh, what it would be like to have them both crawl up my snatch for a day or two, ha ha ha.
But anyways, YouTubers, the plot of Molly's Gang centers around the titular Molly and a group of other pint-sized extraterrestrials who spend their time exploring the wonders of their home world of Gallifrey.
Oh my, that's quite a funny coincidence, Ryoga, because the planet Gallifrey was actually going to be my final destination of my around-the-world vacation rate journey, when I decide to blast myself into space at Cape Canaveral after using one of the space shuttles as dildos. But yes folks, DW Forever 917 came across this swell series on YouTube back in 2018 and was actually planning to make it one of his first secret missing episode projects upon his recent comeback in late 2017. But don't take my word for it, why don't you hear the facts from our next special guests? Come out here, you two out of this world babes, and give us all the juicy details.
Yes Olga, thanks again for the swell introduction. But anyways, greetings Earth people, my name is Molly, and let me tell you, I just flew in from Gallifrey and boy are my arms tired.
Oh my Molly, how long have you been holding on to that one? Hello, my name is Coral, the BFF to Molly, and speaking on behalf, I think it is grand that our Fallen project is finally being touched upon after all these years.
But yes, our secret missing episode would have started with swell introductions like this one, as well as confirming our status as huge lovers of sexy, smooth-looking bare feet, especially for that of the otherworldly. Just then our wish for more pedal variety will come come true, as we get ourselves an unexpected visit from two alien creatures, well alien to us anyway, namely that sexy Naodanandaba and Princess Sazami Jurai, both of which represent the Speakeneer group Team Tarkoon.
Oh, and that's not all. Such other swell members accompanying them on their swell visit include Lum Invader from Urusei Yatsira, Starfire from the original series Team Titans, Benning Tennyson from the original series Ben 10, Wily Cat and Kit from Thundercats, and the teen clone version of Son Gohan from Dragon Ball Z. Why, even our gang's mascot does to find someone he can cling onto. Yes!
So as you may have guessed, Naota and his bunch indoctrinated me and the gang as the next set of Team Tarkoon members, and we've been living it up in that swell group ever since, ha ha ha.
Yes, and don't forget Molly that I too had a special guest appearance in this video project. After arriving on the planet Gallifrey from my swell pocket rocket ship trip from my life-size dildo that is the space shuttle that I commandeered from Cape Canaveral, I introduced myself to Molly's gang and got to know the two females of said gang on a more biblical level, along with the female Team Tarkoon members when we headed down to the local space disco to have a funkadelic bare-digit dance-off.
Oh indeed, that was a funky fresh experience, Miss Podaki. And yes YouTubers, this was always meant to be the first video to feature the space disco scenes from Galaxy Goof-Ups and Yogi's Space Race.
Ah yes, and we all know how that would later become such a recurring theme in future videos on this YouTuber's channel, ha ha ha.
Hi, and speaking of things that were meant to appear much earlier, if at all, this secret missing episode was going to formally introduce a new character to the Speakonia community called the Shmoo, who is meant to be the official mascot of Team Tarkoon's major ally group, the Lil Abner League. The shmoo would show up during the epilogue scene and try to get satisfaction from one of the local residents on Gallifrey. Moreover, the shmoo would be a Pujokin type character, meaning that he actually gets said satisfaction and uses the whole oh yes harder bit when receiving such totem pain. The reason I bring this up is because my manga exclusive soul sweetheart Akaharu Ryu had also joined up with the Lil Abner League, mainly because she and one of their other members, Miss Moonbeam McSwine, share a similar fondness for pigs. With that said, I so hope I can find my way to the town of Dogpatch in time for the next Sadie Hawkins Day race, ha ha ha.
Yeah. Thanks for the crucial info there, Ryoga. Now I'm sure you're all curious as to why this project never got off the ground after so much thought was put into it. Well, DW Forever 917 actually started work on the secret missing episode of Molly's Gang back in the late spring of 2018 and had gotten about a quarter of a way through. But Dubs was doing this project on an older version of Filmora, and the Windows 10 he was working with at the time was just starting to give him problems. The thing would overheat, make loud buzzing noises, and on one fateful day he got a blue screen of death, and after his laptop rebooted, the folder that housed the material for his missing episode was almost completely corrupted, and he had to delete it from the laptop just to keep it from freezing up. He even had to download the latest version of Filmora just to get it working again. No, that was not swell at all. And now, as a loving tribute, we're going to show you the only thing to survive the project, and that was the opening narration. Dubs even whipped up some swell visuals to go along with it. With that said, cue the lights.
This is the secret missing episode of Molly's Gang. It was never aired because Martin Gates Productions could not afford to pay for the likenesses of several licensed characters that make guest appearances in said episode, due to the budgetary strain of combining stop motion with traditional hand-drawn animation. Plus, all the barefoot exposure would have given the episode a TV-14S rating, which is much too swell for a children's network to handle. You must be 2001 years old and actually be in space so no one can hear you scream in total sexual ecstasy to view. Tissues, lubricants, and an ample supply of photos to show to your friends so they'll know you're not crazy is advised. This video was brought to you by Eliza Thornberry's Chimp Chips. Tasty toe jam bits and toenail clippings drenched in salty foot sweat and soul spices to satisfy your lust for that succulent pedal primate flavor. This swell foot food product is available everywhere ashy aphrodisiacs are sold. And now, on with the show.
Meg, that was indeed a very swell little introduction there. I especially liked the product placement with that sexy Eliza at the end. Wink. It's a damn shame that we never got a chance to tell the whole story in full detail, but I guess a cliff note of those events is still better than nothing.
Oh boy, ain't it the truth. Say Olga, me and Coral were just about to test out her latest foot-tastic invention. Would you like to join us?
Well, if it's just you two ladies involved, perhaps I could indulge my curiosity a bit. But we better make it quick, cause I need to get ready for my next exciting raid journey. And trust me when I say it's gonna be an obscure nostalgic thrill ride for all you ladies of the 80s out there. Yes.
Oh my, sounds exciting.
Hey Sandra, share. How's about we take us a break and you and that hot wild playboy of yours Ryoga head over to the nearest spa for a little mud wrestling. What do you say?
Well, like I said, we could use a commercial break right about now, eh? As this video's already long enough as it is, and like I said, there's still a lot more to talk about. So what do you say, Ryoga, eh? Is your sexy arse ready to go another round with yours truly?
Oh, you know me, Sandra-kun, I'm game for anything. And hi, I would so love to mud wrestle at a health spa with you as well, Sissy-chan.
And don't be shy to use some of those podophilic martial arts moves on me either, Ryoga, share. Why, I might even show you a few of my own, ha.
Say, when you're done with all that, Miss Delmas, perhaps you'd like to come come and see my latest invention as well. Why, I've been making swell gadgets in my lap that would make your group's head inventor Tracy McBean blush with envy. Wink.
Well, Coral, share. Whatever you got to show me, it better be out of this world. But enough talk. Let's cut to the commercial so we can get going already.
Right, off to it then. Cue the title card, Charlie.
We all get together when we break out of school, and we all saw this monkey eating something real cool. Funny banana, he's alright. He knows what's really best. Yeah, Billabong our best. There's chocolate, strawberry, triple swell, new ball blueberry too. And Bonnie loves what that great banana taste can do. Now he's with us. He's in our gang. Moving right along. Wrap your life and gear around your favorite Billabong.
By the way folks, both Billabong and Barney Banana Bars have now become the official sponsors of Green Patch Brothels. Buy one wherever furry aphrodisiacs are sold. Canada.
Oh, put me down for 2 of those a piece of hair.
Birdie, you little slut. Grimace said that his voice wasn't sexy enough, so it ran away.
Fuck you, Grimace, you asshole. I'll show you just how fucking sexy and seductive I can be. Then you'll be begging me to take you back.
Oh my.
Damn it, we need to get Grimace's voice back. It's time to form Gilda's squad and get on the swell sexy case. Birdie, you get behind us so we don't have to look at you. Gilda's squad in search for the runaway sexy voice.
Okay, you sexy little boy. Open your mouth and say.
Listen to my sexy voice. I'm fucking you with my mouth. I'm a penis coming out of my mouth. I'm a piss in your mouth and fart in your face and shit in your mouth.
Here's the porno little girl.
Hey, you gorgeous little tramp, why are you reading porno when you got me right here?
What the fuck? Alright my sexy little footsters, remember what I taught you when I made you take your shoes off?
I am a terrorist, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, I fucked your mother and I fucked your father and I fucked your next door neighbor and I fucked your great great uncle and...
But it got away again.
Look on. Grimace's voice is headed over to the rancid vagina caverns in Photophobia.
Oh fuck, there's no way I'm going in there. Well Grimace, it looks like you're going to have to find yourself a new voice. Tough luck buddy.
This has been a Ronald McDonald, better known as Penis Clown production. Ow.
فايز اعمل لك معايا سندوتش جبنه.
مش جعان.
What the fuck? You got a problem with me or something, pal? Alright, now get on the table and let's do this.
باندا ما يتقلهاش لا.